Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video. So as of my last video, we covered everything in relation to interdiction and scouting and all of that. This is a explosion on that diagram basically. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to discuss the rest of scouting, and scout or die is a real thing, and it's going to be an issue that if you don't address it is going to end up with you losing equipment, people and resources moving forward. We're also going to be discussing item recovery today as well, and my take on the whole situation in relation to it, and tier 1 and tier 2 and that, all that coming up as well. So yeah, it is what it is, and they're not doing it because it's going to make it easy for PvE players or PvP players in contested zones and stuff like that. It's nothing to do with that. It's to do with object container streaming, yes, OCS server related stuff, to make it easier for them to work on other things like massive mission reworks and everything else that they're making improvements on as we speak. So there's a reason for it, and it's not the reason that everyone thinks it is right now. They're obviously going to bring in tier 1 and tier 2 to kind of smooth out the transition for all of us, and my take on why it's not an issue outside of Stanton. I believe if you're in Pyro, you should still lose your stuff because it's non-lawful, there's no insurance out there, etc. so forth. Anyhow, let's just get straight into the video. Okay guys, so let's just hit the ground running. So to start with, I'm just going to bring us over to this screen. Now, Alpha 4.1, first look at item recovery. Hello everyone, and trying to be Star Citizen Jared Huckabee, I hate him. As we prepare for the Evocati test phase, our upcoming Alpha 4.1 patch, we'd like to introduce the iterative release plan for item recovery, a long-awaited system that gives players more control and reclaiming their valuable gear after death. Gear's not valuable. Anyway, yeah, we'll get to that point moving forward, don't worry. Okay, so CitizenCon 2954, we shared our long-term design and crafting insurance and item ship recovery. If you need a refresher, both presentations are available on YouTube and will be a helpful watch before diving into this post. Links on the screen, you can search it up on Google yourself. If you really want, I can link the link in the description below, but I'm sure you guys are capable. So today we want to provide a more detailed breakdown of some of the iterative releases that will start to bring these plans to life. The initial TO rollout will be fairly basic compared to the full system, but it makes crucial first steps. As we shared at CitizenCon, the complete recovery system will be far more robust and nuanced, making gear management a core gameplay element. You'll need to be able to secure the items that matter most while still allowing room for piracy and emergent gameplay. No, it doesn't actually. Yeah, no, I don't agree with any of this, right? So with the initial rollout of the item recovery in Alpha 4.1, internally referred to as TO, you will respawn with the exact same gear you had equipped at the time of death. Emphasis on the term equipped, as this is different than what you may have had in your inventory. This includes equipped weapons, armor, magazines, and med pens, ensuring that your core loadout is retained. So anything stuck to your armor or on your backpack, or that is attached, right, to your character at the time. However, items stored in your inventory, such as backpacks or other containers, will remain on your corpse, making them available for looting or retrieval. So your weapons are usually going to be on your backpack, right? Contested players, right? I think they've overlooked that part, right? Anyway, okay, while equipped items will also remain on your corpse too, they will not be interactable, preventing item duplication, OCS, object container streaming issues because of shitty servers. Anyway, preventing item duplication while still preserving the visual state of your character at the time of death. The approach helps mitigate item duplication issues in the initial implementation while laying out the groundwork for future expansions of the system in T1 and T2, T1 and 2, which you can read about below. So object container streaming has been an ongoing issue for years now, right? I've covered that years ago as well, and parry that up with dynamic server meshing, lack of static, and there's the problem. OCS works directly with dynamic. Without dynamic, OCS really does not work properly, and that's why we're having problems with quantum breaking, all types of other issues in the hangar, etc. Right? But they're not being honest about that. So I am, because I'm the guy, the server meshing guy, right? I know exactly everything, literally, about server meshing and dynamic server meshing and how it's meant to be implemented, designed, and created. It's mind-blowing tech. It really is. But saying we have server meshing now, no. Stating we got static server coupling, yes. And this is the misnomer. It's not server meshing. You're not meshing anything. You are literally patchworking servers together. You are coupling them together at the moment. So it's server coupling, static server coupling. Anyway, moving forward, as I say, we can have a look at all of this wonderful stuff, loadout and ship registrations, and going to kiosks and terminals and registering your gear, and what you want to keep, what you don't want to keep. If you bought it in the store, you haven't bought it in the store. Look, guys, if you're paying for skins, go play COD, or I don't know, CS2 or something. This is not that game. This is Star Citizen. Why are you buying paint or designs for your armor? No one's going to care. Anyway, that's my personal opinion, by the way. That's not obviously an official thing. And yes, it's a way of CIG making more money. I know. Anyway, bricked door items. This is the whole thing. Restoring bricked items and crafting integration. T2 will introduce a way to restore previously bricked items for a price. So if you manage to somehow steal this stuff off someone's dead corpse, and it's, bought in the store garbage, and I call it garbage because it's just microtransactions in my opinion, and something I really hated dealing with, where we had cheaters buying stolen accounts with 50 or 60 skins on them, right? Anyway, you can steal something and then you can pay for an unbricking fee, obviously in an unlawful place, not in Stanton, maybe Grim Hex in Stanton, but outside of Stanton obviously, and you can sell it for its resource value or its recyclable value, right? Its salvageable value of its components. So yeah, looting and bricked items. Once an item is looted, you will have the option to sell it, dismantle it for crafting materials, or restore it, with the potential cost of crafting materials and credits to make it your own. So basically, it's almost like a blueprint, really. It's just you reverse engineering it and then putting a new serial number on it, making it yours, right? For a massive cost compared to. The system creates a viable pathway for piracy, allowing you to claim another player's belongings if you take the necessary steps to legitimize ownership. They're pirates. There's no legitimacy about the whole gameplay loop. Anyway, if an item had a cosmetic applied, restoring or remove the cosmetic in the process. So this is really, really, really the problem here. You pay for it on the store, you get it, then someone else nicks it, then they go through all this nightmare and waste of money and time to restore it, to then have it go back to a stock skinned item. Sorry, that's extremely disincentivizing for anybody, piracy or not. What if you come across a gun, like I don't know, whatever it is, right? And you go, oh, cool, I just found that in the ground because the player's body's been despawned, but the weapon stayed there, right? That happens. And you go, oh, cool, all right, yeah, I'll pay for that to get fixed. And oh, shit, it's just a stock weapon. And you've wasted how much more money than just buying a stock weapon from the shop already? And I mean in-game. It's dumb, it's stupid, and it is too careberry. Now, I'm not PvP, I'm not PvE, I'm something in between. So, the introduction of this item recovery is a significant step towards making gear persistence more meaningful, with maintaining the risk-reward balance of looting. No, it removes that actually. TO in Alpha 4.1 is the beginning. As we further integrate into broader crafting and insurance systems, we'll be actively refining and updating with the help of your feedback through the PTU process and beyond. We'll see you in the verse. Okay, guys, look, if you are in lawful space, yes, that makes sense. The whole insurance system works. If you are in unlawful space or just outer rim or outer rim, no, there are no insurance assessors that are going to fly all the way out there for a freaking pistol or an AR or a whatever it is, and then you restore it and then you remake it if you have to, like obviously reverse engineer it through the crafting system, then get all the extra resources that you've got to get yourself, right? If they're going to be fresh resources, they can't be recycled resources, to then unbrick it, to then make it yours with a new serial number on it, and then have it become a standard stock weapon again. Stupid. Look, I don't know what's going on in this department, specifically at Sour Gene. Other departments, they are making light years worth of progress in the last few weeks, let alone last few months, right? This is a gigantic step backwards in relation to the development of the game, because object container streaming and the shitty servers they're using, these are archival backup data servers, they're not gaming servers, by the way, to start with, because OCS won't work properly with the whole issue with causing clutter and the deletion of assets from the PU, because dynamic server meshing doesn't exist yet, right? That's why. Not because they're trying to help players get their gear back. It's bullshit. Be honest. Say, look, the servers we're using right now are absolutely pig shit, and at the end of the day, it's the clutter issue and the replication issue is a massive problem we're having with OCS, because we haven't got dynamic server meshing in. We've only got coupled servers through static coupling, and we can't replicate everything across because the hardware we're using is garbage. Just be honest. Don't try to paint it a pig, to look like mutton or whatever. This is just a pig shit situation that they've got themselves in, and they're putting a mass majority of us original backers at a massive disadvantage for the convenience of not having to actually answer up and tell the truth about this. But the rest of the development's going ahead in lightning speed. So why? Is this the last of the wokies that they've got working there? Maybe that's it, and they're trying to look for an excuse to get them fired. Hopefully, fingers crossed, toes crossed. It's aggravating, and it's a massive step backwards. And look, at the end of the day, I stand in between both sides, but I'm also running a very special kind of organization, which you'll find out about soon enough, that will be directly impacted by this on a small scale, but still impacted. That means my bottom line's now being hit, not on. Anyway, let's move forward. So in the last video, we're now talking about Scout or Die, right? As you saw in the last video, those of you that actually have the attention span to watch and stick it out and understand how important this gameplay loop is to the entire game now, right? This is a supporting pillar of all gameplay. Scouting is so massively more important than anyone, I think, has realized or has taken seriously to this point and moving forward now. So we covered all of this, and we started off with the Herald for space-related interdiction and so on and so forth. Now, let's move to this. Now this, I know Picasso, or you might even think it's a Picasso, who knows with the modern day art we've got these days. Anyway, starting with this. Now, scouting, moon, planet, asteroid belt, salvage operations. All salvage is going to require, just like cargo, an escort. Yes, obviously. You want medium and heavy fighters around the actual cargo and the salvages themselves while they're processing that ship, right? And getting stuff off, cargo's taking the boxes. Obviously, you want big heavies looking after those guys. But at the same time, right, scouting is all about creating a radius of protection or a bubble, because we are talking about 3 dimensions here, not 2 dimensions. To be creating that bubble for you, that opportunity for you to then not have to worry about being imminently attacked, have a heads up, have the scouts call out their position and location, and whichever escort's being affected, right? So in this case, it's the salvager, right? And the scout up on the top left-hand side here and the top right-hand side, okay? They've got a signal from out here. It's coming in, right? They're heading straight for the salvager, right? Because it's probably a reclaimer that's super bright on radar. And they're going, oh, okay, fantastic. Yep, okay, easy pickings. We can see the derelict and we can see the reclaimer. Cargo probably as well, but as they get closer to about here, then they'll see cargo and go, this is easy. If these scouts are running stealth ships, which they should be in these situations around asteroid belts, moons and planets, because you don't want them being detected, and then they see these guys, they're going to go, ha, easy peasy. But scouts have already seen them from off the screen here, okay, right at the top. And these guys are like, okay, we'll play it dumb and we'll just float around But what will have happen is the cargo escort guys will also swing up and meet up with the salvage escort guys. They'll all move into position, and then what will happen is these guys will be sitting here and here, and then they're getting it ready for a fight, right? That's cool, like fantastic. These scouts down here need to hold the bottom of the engagement area, because just in case, these guys can come back down from up here with these guys and come down and protect the cargo if need be, if cargo's full by then, right? Depends on the size of the ship, if it's a Javelin or smaller, who knows? It's all situational analysis at that stage. So these guys are going to have to stay out of the fight. They're going to have to keep on super low power and just have their active scanning working, as well as their pulse scans getting sent out at all times, just to make sure that nobody else is thinking the same thing or have got wind of this derelict ship being processed and wants to come in from a different angle, because not everyone's going to know to come in at this angle, right? There's all these other angles. So these scouts are going to move into position here and here. They're going to go full EM, IR quiet. The enemy's going to come in looking at these guys, and these guys have just joined up with them, and they're going to be looking at them as the main enemy, right? And the main area of contention and the AO, right? The area of engagement. These guys, while they're here and here, they're going to let these guys come through. And these guys are going to go full weapons and go bang, bang, bang from behind. Rocket, 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 which is probably the best way to go, or come in and just literally start picking off the attackers from behind. They will not see it coming. They will be distracted by the main force that is defending the salvage ship and the derelict and cargo. And these guys are going to be your silver bullets. Again, scouts, stealth ships. These guys are just going to have to bite their time, just bite it and just go, oh, I so want to be part of that, but we need to hold the radius. Now, don't forget, this derelict is going to bring in a lot of UECs. It's going to get everyone paid very handsomely, especially if it's a big ship, as I say, and you've got cargo coming and going and coming in with empty cargo bays to replace. Connie Taurus, probably the best way to go, tractor beam, right? So that's all personal preference, but for efficiency and for ease and speed of getting the boxes off this guy who's full to the brim to maxing out these guys makes him empty again. He can continue to then just work on the derelict non-stop. So that is going to apply to planet side, asteroids, as well as moons, obviously. Right, so that's that one. And yeah, your scouts down here just have to be patient. These guys have to be smart and stealth. You don't want them showing up on radar. You want these guys to come past, ignore them, not even see them, and get into the main engagement and just come in and pick them off, finish them off. Even worst possible case scenario, at least they're going to soften up the guys attacking these guys enough for these guys to go pop, 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 yep, done. Then reform up on salvage and back on cargo again. Wait for the next incursion. And maybe it might come from here. It may come from here. Or it may come back from here again. But this way, you're not taking any losses if you've got good enough pilots, obviously, and everyone is doing their job properly, especially your stealth scouts. Right? So now we move to mining and cargo operations. This is planet side, obviously. That's why there's the curve. I'm no Picasso. Bear with me. So you're going to come in with your cargo and your escorts and your miners and your scouts. Scouts are going to go in first. So you're all going to get to just outside the planet here. Scouts are just going to head in before anybody else, and they are going to start sending out one party, two parties, three parties. Now, so you should have about 4 scouts for this, to have 3 do long range scanning and identifying, so you can find the best outcrops. That way the miners can go straight in with the lead scout to look at the localized closest area of incursion into the atmosphere to find the best or the best of the best, or the best, or just good enough materials to start the operation. And that scout is going to be creating a radius. Then you're going to maybe have one of the miners go, oh, okay, look, I've just seen this on my radar, and this is palladium, trilithium, whatever it is, right? I don't do mining. And go, right, okay, so this guy is going to come around. He's going to then break out of his loop, come back around. So it's not going to be a nice, well planned out waypoint circle. He's going to have to make it a little bit oblique and come back as well, just to keep an eye on old mate, right? And give him a bit of room to work with while he's getting those really, really high quality resources. While these guys have already gone out, they've already put markers down for the next actual sites to mine, the best locations. So here had tin and iron, here had just stone, and these other places, yeah, aluminium, maybe a little bit of corundum, stuff like that. But these were the places they went out to, and they went around and did their scans and worked out these were the best outcrops possible for, especially if it's mission based or it's need based for crafting. These guys are going to save these guys and these guys a metric shit ton of time looking and doing this themselves. So you're optimizing the operation for the benefit of everybody involved. You're minimizing your time comparatively on planet to make yourself a target to get these things to get off planet. So the whole thing is, right, miners and cargo will be running side by side. You'll have a Connie Taurus and you'll have the Mole, right? So cargo in this respect is silver, and obviously mining is orange, right? The Mole is orange as well. And what you want to focus on is you want a ground-based escort to go down with cargo, not your miners. Because the reason why is because these guys are going to fill up from these guys. These guys can carry up to 181 SCU of very high quality ore in boxes, right? SCU boxes that get spat out by the Mole. These guys, your red squadron in this case, is going to be this guy's direct escort and support, okay? They're going to be making sure this guy is not affected by any incursion on ground if it happens. Your scouts would have already been ahead of this once again and identified the threat, whether it's land-based or it's space-based or air-based, and been able to give these guys more than enough time, right, to get in position and get everything sorted. And once again, scouts go into stealth and then sneak in behind, and after these guys have started to engage them, rocket, or whatever you want to do, and soften them up, finish them off, right? You want to pincer every single time. You do not want to head on and just hope for the best. You want your scouts to be effective expeditionary forces, but at the same time, you want them to be super effective in rear flanking, right? And just catching your enemies off guard all the time. And when you're close to the ground, it's a totally different game. In space, it's different. On ground, it's scary. Because if you hit one rock, boom, you're dead. So your scouts need to learn, a really big thing here is learn extremely low level flight perfectly, because one, you want to get in under radar, and if you're a stealth ship, you want to get close to the ground as possible. So even if you do get blipped, the person engaging with the red squadron escort isn't going to have time to look at that radar, and you're going to get right in there and you're going to just go boom, volley of 4 rockets, boom, dead. Next one, and you start engaging them and you start knocking their shields out, and then red squadron then can do their business. Medium and heavies, yeah? Then, this is the big part that everyone overlooks. So we're all on planet, right? And this is all going on, and red squadrons engaging, scouts are engaging, but no one's watching space, are they? Ah, yes, actually they are. Black Squadron, yes, another stealth unit of 8 fighters. Doesn't matter, you choose whatever you want to do with those ghosts or their sabers or whatever, right? But they've got to be stealth. Once again, low power, low EM, low IR, and just keep an eye on the space above what's going down the ground, especially if the bad guys coming from here are calling in reinforcements, and especially if they're ground vehicles. They're going to be calling in space forces, right? Or air forces in this case. These guys, one, again, let them pass. Let them get past. Don't be detected. Red Squadron, there's already a call out over comms, right? From cargo or from the miners. Most importantly, by the scouts, who have already been informed by escort. Scouts and Red Squadron, we have incoming. So then the scouts will then finish off what their business on the ground. They'll go into low EM, low IR, get low to the ground, land even, and power off just far enough away, right? You can always boost in, guys. Then, as they start coming in on the miners and the cargo, The scouts are already ready to go. Red Squadron's already just starting to head up to them in the atmosphere or stratosphere to engage. And then again, the stealth squad comes in and destroys them from the back. These guys may be a bit scathed, but you've taken out the reinforcements, right? Miners, cargo aren't even going to know what's going on except for the mic chatter if you haven't got your comms set up properly in either Discord or, more importantly, probably voice attack. At this stage, Discord is not going to be suitable enough in any way for this to work properly, unless you go through all the bells and whistles and priority speaker settings, and it's a shit fight. At least with voice attack, you can just press a button on your keyboard and it'll tab in between channels. You do you, I'll do me. So yeah, we want these guys basically not even taking a single nick on a shield. We just want these guys working, doing their job and not being affected. It is the job of the scouts, the stealth escort, the bright military escort to make sure miners and cargo do not even hear about, see, or anything have happened. We want to keep them confident in doing what they're doing, not have them get stressed out and freak out and then abort, and then cargo flies off that way, and then miners, they kind of go, oh, and they go up towards the space to get out of there, and you've got incoming, and we don't want that. We don't want these guys getting upset, affected, or bothered in any way possible. We want them to think nothing's happening, everything's fine. And look, at the worst possible case scenario, if the last of the Red Squadron, the last of Black Squadron, and the last of the Scouts is on their last limping legs, call out to cargo and miners and go, right, leave the planet southwest. Yeah, we are engaging southeast and we are losing. Get out of there. Abort. And then that way, at least the cargo and the mole can get out of there. These guys that are coming in to attack us maybe have blipped them at some stage, but gone, look, I'm too busy dealing with all these other dudes. Then these guys can slink away and get back to space station or planet super quick without even having to have any engagement with any enemy fighter at any stage. Scout or die, guys. Without scouting, your survivability in the verse is extremely low. And yeah, you think, oh, but that's never happened to me. Yet, being the word yet. When it does start happening and pirates are actually pirating full on, you guys need to do this stuff. If you don't, you're gonna fail and you're gonna leave the game. No one wants you leaving the game, right? We all want everybody working together to be the best they can be and have the most fun that they can. Yeah, we don't want people leaving and rage quitting and losing out on hours of work, literal real-time hours, guys, because this mob didn't have their shit together, right? So you flyboys, you gotta pull the finger, mate. You guys have to really step it up now in training, and you have to start massively appreciating cargo and miners and salvages massively more than you ever have before, right? You go down, the whole thing goes down. If you don't communicate effectively, especially scouts, you need to communicate real-time situational analysis, real-time at all times. And you guys in escort in this case, you got to be listening. You can't have comms off, you can't have your headset off. You have to be full-time in your saddle doing your job as well, because these guys can call out everything, and if you're off going to get a bag of chips out of the cupboard, it's over, and it'll be over in seconds. Like, I'm talking about 40-50 seconds, it'll be over. You'll come back, oh, what happened? Oh, we're all dead. What? I just went to get a bag of chips. Why? Did you tell anybody? Oh, I didn't think I needed to. Oh, thank you very much. Now we're screwed. Everyone will get super angry. These guys specifically will get furious, and once again, this continues to fail to happen properly, these players are going to leave your orgs. You fighter pilots need to get the chip off your shoulder. I'm a fighter pilot too, by the way, guys. Dual sticks, pedals, the whole bit, right? I know understand the importance of mining and cargo. That's why I finished off cargo to max rep. I wanted to see how fucking painful it is, and it is horrific. These guys are dedicated. You need to be dedicated for them, especially mining. Oh my god, I can't even imagine doing it myself. It's definitely not my gameplay loop. That is a shit fight. Brain damage. But there's people that can love it, right? Not me. Cargo is enough for me, right? So step up, flyboys. And this is the biggest, most important part about scouting. This isn't flying. No, it's all ground-based. And this is the central hub of real scouting at its peak. So flying around a ship's quite easy, right? Running a battlefield, boots on the ground, sniper rifles, stealth armor. Yes, that's coming in the next patch. Woohoo! For light and medium at this stage for stealth. Heavy is probably 4.2, 4.3. So this is where it is at. This is where the elite of the elite of the elite scouts win the day and save hundreds of lives, and gets this division in to get the objective to get back out, and tries to keep everyone they can alive until that happens and these guys extract. That is the purpose of every single engagement you're going to have moving forward, is getting your secret ops, black ops, wet workers, whatever you want to call them. These are specialists in extraction-based FPS, okay? They're still shit. These guys have to train and train and train and train and train to be the best they can be. So, starting this whole diagram off, this is the AO, right? Or the AOE, whatever you want to call it. Now, here you have your lead sniper, right? Your sniper squad boss, the squad leader. You've got your second in command, your third in command. These guys are flanking, right? So they're hiding on hills, mountains, in sniper gear, literally prone, lying flat, looking right into the battle in stealth gear. Without it, you're going to get popped, especially if someone comes in a fighter, dogfighter, right? So we're engaging from the front, obviously, right? Because that's how most engagements start. That's fine. We're pushing ground units in. We're trying to use the cover that's available, and it's very sparse, always is, right? And we're trying to use that as natural cover. Now we're going to bring in tanks. We're going to bring in all types of different ground equipment to try to create artificial cover for your troops moving forward, especially if it's a tank, they can walk behind it, right? And not take any small arms fire. So at the front here, we have a sniper with an 8 times scope. Hopefully they go up to 12 times. And they are, without the popping issues we're having now, right? They will be able to then literally look at the battlefield, look at the enemy base, look at where the defenders are, look at where some other problems might lie from either side as well, and be able to call out situational awareness at all times while scoped in and in stealth armor. So let's say ground troops are moving in, and we've got some guys moving around here and up here, and there's a couple of ground-based machine guns, right? The ones that stand on the stand, and these guys are getting ready to mow our guys down, pushing in, right? They're utilizing cover whatever they can, vehicles as artificial cover, everything they can, right, to just push the line. But they're meeting a massive resistance, as they should, right? So this guy is calling it out. These guys are giving situational analysis on troop numbers, reinforcements, the tech that's being used, anything being set up, like anti-tank rocket launcher, yeah, etc. so forth, anti-aircraft launchers, the whole bit, right? Let alone the turrets that we're going to be dealing with as well. Now, there's 2 ways of going about this at this stage. You can have a battlefield commander, PMC, general, literally getting fed this information live by the squad leader for scouting, sniper, and be able to then make executive decisions on troop movements on the field. Yeah. And yes, it will slow things down, but there will be PMC leaders that have to, run the show. That's just how you run your org. That's fine. It's not the best way in any means, but I understand the military structure and your leadership structure as well makes sense, right? It's how it's always been done. So your lead sniper is going to be literally feeding information direct on situational analysis in real time on what his snipers are seeing and what he's seeing, and looking at the situation. He is literally just constantly feeding information straight into the commander's ear. Then the commander is then giving directions for the ground troops, the military, hardware, the whole bit, right? So then, all right, that's all well and good, right? But these guys are trying to push in to the objective from the back. There is no cover anywhere. This is just desert, little tiny shrubs and rocks, right? Little tiny rocks. There is no cover here. So now the commander should then say to the sniper squad leader, okay, communicate with your flanks and start taking out priority targets, doing whatever they can to thin out the raised or elevated enemies that cannot be approached or hit by ground-based units, let alone tanks. Right now, yes, we're getting voxel-based destructive buildings coming in later. So yes, tanks will have massive effect on buildings in future, but until that time, your snipers need to be the ones picking guys off on elevated positions, especially if they're running, mortars and anti-tank missiles and stuff like that, right? And just continue to try to slowly whittle down those forces on the elevated areas to stop that incursion of hardware getting destroyed. Ground units can move very quickly. Hardware can't, right? So we're going to get to a point in the battle where these guys are putting up a massive fight, and it could also be a stalemate situation, right? That's fine. What we need to do then is we need to have heavy artillery come in from the back lines. Resupply is constantly coming in at the same time and going into the sniper points and moving in to provide ammo, medicine, Ursa units, terrapins, if you can get that close without the laser turrets taking them out, and getting the wounded off the field, getting them out of the engagement, healing them up, and then sending them back in, right? Obviously, we want to maximize our troop numbers. We don't want to just treat people like cannon fodder. Once again, that's another way to have your org fall apart. We want to maximize every single participant's stickability and stayability in the fight. Because if we're just taking them away and healing them up and then bringing them back, these guys are going to start getting smaller in number as well. Yes, they may also have the same medical facilities on site, which is probably going to be the case, and they're going to have medics, and they'll be doing the same thing. But we're not there to wipe out the base. We're not there to kill everybody. We're there to get this division in ground buggies or speeder bikes, whatever, in, kill some dudes at the back here, real quiet, like full stealth. Do not raise suspicion while all this other crap's going on, right? And these guys are busy as hell trying to fight everyone off. Sneak in, take out who they need to take out to get the package and get back out. Get in these vehicles and boot it. Now, as they're booting it out, heavy artillery is putting suppressing fire on the back of that base, creating an artillery wall against anything trying to leave, anyone trying to leave, or any kinds of rockets or any kind of laser weapons. If you have constant big plumes of dirt going up in the air, let alone taking out anything that's trying to leave the back of the base to chase our Black Ops guys out, then it's an impossibility for the enemy, or a very slim chance they're going to even have a chance to even try to catch up to our guys to shoot them in the buggies. Yeah, Ursa's too slow. You need something fast and agile buggies to get them off the engagement area, to then get them out of the engagement area and get them gone home, because the package is either going to be an org leader, your org leader, someone of high value, a scientist, anything. It's the objective, it's the target. That's what these guys have been specifically tasked with. They're not there to deal with all this. They're there to get that one thing or things and get out and get it back to base. Once this is done and we have successful extraction, we have successful extraction commander heading back to base. Commander goes, right, everybody, pull out, pull out, pull out, and get as many downed units that are still on the field medically out of there as well. Try to leave this field clean. No dead bodies, at least from our side. Their side, so be it, right? They can then pick up the corpses and clean up their mess after we're gone. They will lose the objective. We will win the objective. And again, scouting or dying. Snipers, scouts now move into sniper professional roles. They're long distance ranged units that are going to be able to get situational awareness. Now, no tank is going to have the visibility. We know that already, right? No tank is going to have the distance view either. No ground unit is going to be able to get a full 360 degree, or at least a cross section of the entire battlefield, but snipers are. These guys are stealthed up, and they aren't taking pot shots. They're not making their position be made aware all the time. They're just taking shots when they're commanded to by their lead squad member, who is also sniping. Then with the commotion and the kerfuffle and everything going on back here as these guys are running out and these guys are putting down heavy fire, these guys can then just start pop, 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 right? Taking anything out because it'd be so busy by that stage, and this whole base is going to be going, oh shit, we lost the objective. Go get it. And then once that's happening and these guys start exiting out, you want your ground troops moving forward. You just don't want them to get hit by the artillery, right? So you don't want them to go in, you want them to go up and move with your Black Ops backwards to then exit the AO out the back. In the front, these guys will just retreat out of the AO. These guys will do their best to cover every single soldier running back out and save the day, and resupply and medical will patch them up, chuck them on their drop ships and get them home. This is the whole game, guys. Scout or die, snipe or die. You have to have eyes everywhere at all times. You have to understand the importance of situational awareness, battlefield awareness, command structures, comms, brevity, communication, oh my God, communication, and people just doing what they are told, no questions asked. And these guys be super well trained and hand-picked to be literally the best in your org. It's only going to be a small squad of about 8 to 10 people. All up. You don't want Black Ops to be a whole organization. You want Black Ops to be extremely specialized extraction, target extraction, objective extraction team. That's all they do. They do espionage and all that other stuff. We'll discuss espionage in another video after this one at a later date, once I have more actual espionage gameplay to work with, to actually do some video demonstration for you as well. This is all your theory, right? Your lesson learning. This now needs to be practiced by your orgs right now. You can use a Ninetales base, easy to do this with. And you can do all of this and mock up, obviously, the Black Ops will be the ones that go into the bunker and kill the dude for bounty missions, right? And these guys will then hold the perimeter. You know, there could also be people just coming down to PvP just to interrupt the situation, thinking, oh, well, just, you know, I'll get the couple of guys running in to do the bunker mission and take it for myself, or take their gear or whatever. Take the gear, right? I know, bad joke. To then get sniped by these guys out of nowhere and dead. But more importantly, this is going to be something that everyone that has a base, that means literally everyone in the game, is going to have to perfect in attacking and defending. And if things get to this point, your scouts weren't scouting in the first place, were they? There was no heads up, there are no reinforcements. You've literally got yourself surrounded because you did not have scouts doing their job. So these guys took full advantage of your incompetence and your inability to plan, and they have you surrounded, and you are the king on the chessboard, and these are a bunch of queens, bishops, knights, whatever you want, you know, whatever you can think of, right? And you're in the middle, and everyone is going for your blood. All your little pawns around you ain't going to save the day. Their objective, whether that's the org leader as well, this could be the org base, the actual server it's on as well. Guys, you've got to really start taking this super seriously now. All right, guys, so look, that's that. The next video, if you've got any ideas of things you want me to talk about, things you want me to discuss, especially when it comes to planning and actual standard operating procedures and the different kinds of engagements you're going to find yourself in. Yeah, so keep in mind, we've got anti-interdiction, we've got salvage gameplay, mining cargo gameplay as well, military incursion. Scouting is part of all of it. And PMC orgs, please, for the love of God, I know you're not going to listen to me and you're going to go off in the comments. I know if those people that do watch this part, you need snipers as your scouts. You don't want snipers as a military division or a squad. You want them to do dual role between scouting as well as sniping, because that's what they've already been trained for. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, any ideas that you want me to talk about, anything else that's coming up from CIG, like this idiocy that we've just had to deal with in relation to item recovery, tell me. I'll happily discuss it. I'll do some research into it and yeah, give you guys some answers to stuff that you may not have answers to already. All right, guys, I'm CTT, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Cheers.